Greetings, sailors. I would love to welcome you to this latest in the webinar series from Navigare Yachting. I'm Philip Winter, and it's been just about a year since we started these when COVID first hit, and pretty excited about getting this information out to everybody. First, let me tell you about quite a few things happening in the industry. As you may have heard, there are lots of new things at Navigare. One of them is, actually, I'm going to tell you about that in just a second. Let me give you an overview of Navigare, the third largest charter company in the world, privately owned since 2001. And we have with us today Jesper Rongard, the owner and founder of Navigare Yachting, 20-year anniversary, so super excited about that. We have three main offices, one in Sweden, the home office, and here in St. Petersburg, Florida, and in Croatia. We have just about 50 yachts in the Virgin Islands, about 300 yachts worldwide in 10 countries. And we believe we have by far the best investment program in the industry. This is all me talking, so don't take my word for it. Go on TripAdvisor and check us out. We're pretty proud of our TripAdvisor rating as being selected for Traveler's Choice. British Virgin Islands. You may have heard that we opened our new base in Nanny Key. We reopened December 1st. There are some COVID restrictions, but you can get there, take a COVID test when you arrive, get on your boat and start sailing. A little bit limited in what you can do for those first 4 days, but you can get out and sail, and there's lots of moorings available. The bays are empty, so great sailing time. U.S. Virgin Islands. I don't know if you have heard, this is our latest opening, but we've partnered with CYOA to open a base in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and just a few miles from the airport, very convenient. We don't have many boats there, so it is packed. If you're interested in chartering there, let us know right away. The Bahamas, no more quarantine, so it's very easy to get in and out of. I just traveled there, and we opened December 1st, and the location is amazing. Still some effects from Dorian, so book the Bahamas, help us out, spend a little money in the restaurants and bars, and help the Bahamian economy come back after Dorian. So I'm going to end the share screen here, and we're going to talk a little bit about owners putting their assets in our hands. And we feel it's extremely important that we treat the boat like it's our own. We're going to talk about how Navigare handles the maintenance and upkeeps of the boats. And we're going to try and keep the webinar to 30 minutes. We welcome any questions that you'd like to ask, and we'll take about 15 minutes at the end to answer your questions. Try and find the chat bar right now. You may have to touch Alt-H or scroll your mouse up, but feel free to open the chat bar and send us a little message, and we'll respond. Hey, Chris, good to have you back. Thank you very much. Find that chat bar and start typing your questions now if you'd like. So some of you may not be aware of the types of investment programs that we have available for somebody wishing to put their boat in charter. And I'd like to take a moment about some of the common types of programs that we're offering, and other charter companies as well, to increase your sailing time, generate revenue, plan the best possible tax strategies, or all of these. Hey, Jamie. Most investors are looking for the best tax planning advantages. Those investors want to place their boat in a model that allows for sharing the charter revenue and pays the lion's share of the revenue, and but the owner would pay the ongoing expenses. For a sailor not looking for significant tax advantages, we have a guaranteed program that allows you lots of sailing time, and we can give you revenue, guaranteed revenue, for up to 7 years. And a plan that allows a lot of owner usage at a lower cost in our smart and smart holiday plans. As a matter of fact, we have a Lagoon 42 waiting for one owner to take over half of that boat, so it's a really good program. With any of our ownership programs, it's critical that the boats stay in good condition and maintained in charter-ready condition. And it's good for us because we have to have the boat ready. It's good for the owner. And we've been very successful in our maintenance of the yachts in our care. And this is the reason that we can offer up to a 7-year term. So an incredibly long term, longer than I believe anybody in the industry. And we're able to get good returns for our owners when the time comes to trade in their boat or sell the boat. So with that said, I'd like to introduce the founder of Navigare Yachting, Jesper Rongard.
Hey, thank you, Philip. Thank you so much. It's good to be on the webinar today. And, I was thinking it's kind of striking how amazingly comfortable our boat has become over the years since we started. 20 years ago, I started with a boat type called the Bavaria 44. It was a 44-foot monohull, and with not horrible accommodation and living comfort, but it's such a different if you compare to what we are with what we have today with our catamaran, 45 feet catamaran with all the amenities you can think of. But of course, the flip side is that the boats are also with more systems, more complicated, and they need way better and structured maintenance.
Yeah, great. They are, and super fun to sail, either short distance or long distance. So before we get to the current arrangement and what we have for our maintenance for our boats, can you tell us a little about the evolution of Navigare and from the last 20 years and how you were involved in the company and including the maintenance in the beginning?
Yeah. Well, was quite different from today. With those Bavaria 44, we had 6 of them down on the little island of Poros, just outside Athens in Greece. And I was on the dock half of the year on the dock, and the other half in the office trying to sell charters and sell boats. So during those time in the base, we had to make do with what we could get our hands on this small island and get shipments from Athens, and it was not let me put it this way, maybe not so structured as we need to be when you're a professional. So with 6 boats, that was fine, and we were growing, and as long as we were in this one base, we were still pretty good without too many systems and rules. We were managing with the paper protocols, and we were following and checking out and so forth. But of course, as we grew, was becoming more and more evident when we reached, I think, around 100 boats. That was the first threshold where it started to get really complicated, managing 100 boats and making sure that all the maintenance was done to the right level, and at the same time keeping costs level. So we've had to implement different kind of support systems over the years to remedy that.
Yeah, we get asked quite frequently, how has the communication with the yacht owners changed over this time? By the way, let me back up just a step and talk about those 6 owners of the Bavaria 44s. 3 of them are still with Navigare with new boats. They've rolled new boats into the program, and I'm really proud of that. So it's a big statement.
It is pretty amazing, and that many of these early owners from the first 6, and also there were another 3-4 of them joining the second year, and then so all these early or many of these early guys are still in the program. So over the years we've done a lot of things to try to accommodate those. But I'd like to say another thing which is important to mention is that since we started with 6 owners, dealing with owners and making sure that they get the right feedback from us, it is really in our DNA. So in the beginning, as you start out, you don't really know what kind of strategy you need to take. But it became pretty early on, it became evident that we needed to go for the high quality, because all our owners were, to be honest, they were always on our backs to make sure that their boats were in good shape. So we realized that the only way we would get some peace of mind was to make sure that those boats were really well maintained. And then we realized that the consequence of that was that charter clients were really happy with the quality of the boats. So it was kind of hand in hand. And then the boat owners would get in the new boats, and the charter guests would get to a new week. So we were growing organically in this way for many, many years. And so it was kind of a winning concept for us, coming from a small market and a small country where the market was limited. So we needed to make sure that all our buyers and clients were happy. So it's been in our DNA, that growth. And of course, when we get to the multiple bases, not only the number of boats, but when you start to get to multiple bases, another thing happened, which was it was hard for me to personally be at the bases all the time, checking the boats, making sure that the base was doing the job properly. So eventually, we started implementing different kind of software solutions. And I think we will get to the software we have right now, but this is actually the third kind of version of our software, which we started developing already 10 years ago, and it's gone through a lot of different steps to get where we are today.
So I guess over the 20 years that Navigare has been around, how has the management program in itself evolved? Now, I think in the beginning there weren't variable owners. I had mentioned earlier that the shared revenue programs may have some tax advantages for people to qualify, and they need that reporting. How has it changed over the years? In those 10 years since you've had the program.
Yeah, that's a very good question, Philip, because just as you say, in the beginning, the maintenance has always been a fixed item with us. We have had, and typically revenue has been fixed too. In the beginning, we had some variable programs on the revenue side, but we have been mainly doing fixed cost and fixed revenue programs. So it was kind of different, and the way we just needed to make sure that the boats were in fantastic shape, and of course that they were rented properly and so forth. But we haven't really been used to sharing the small items with our owners and investors when it comes to maintenance. Of course, always when there has been major damages and so forth, we have been having that part. But on the small scale, we have not had those routines, which came to be actually mainly from when we started selling boats in the US, which is only some three years ago. So it's only the last 3 years where we have been starting reporting more in detail on everything that's going on with the boats.
So the latest evolution of the app is really a full service reporting platform. I'm gonna share the screen and maybe show a few example slides of what that looks like. And let's see. I think I'm back here. Hey, let's go sailing in the Abacos. Guys, I'm sorry I put in a few gratuitous sailing photos. I lived in the Bahamas for about 3 years, and I just miss it completely. I can't wait to be spending more time there. So sorry, a little commercial break there. So tell us about what we see, and I know this might be a little hard on small screens, but what do we see in this slide?
So here is the maintenance program, where the base is adding their tasks to each boat, and we work with the maintenance software both on the turnaround and during the season, and during the let's say the seasonal maintenance break, where it's more standardized, and we follow a number of steps on each boat. And of course it's kind of customized to each boats as well, depending on which boat and which configuration and so forth. But it's important also to mention in the line of this, where we got another great advantage with our all-inclusive or our carefree package, which actually makes our charter guests report all the damages and all the issues with the boat directly to us, because they do not face any penalty for doing so. And this has also been a great tool for our base, because before, back in the days, it used to be kind of a cloak and dagger job, where the base really had to go search the boat and try to find everything which might have been broken during the charter. Whereas with our new program, we get reports oftentimes actually ahead of the weekend on what is broken on the boat, so the base can prepare, we can get spare parts, and during the short hours that we have during the turnaround, we can be very, very efficient. And the maintenance software is used so that the base, the technician, has an app where he can fill out when he goes through the boat, and when he speaks to interacts with the charter guest, he can fill out all the things which needs to be tended to, and that information would then directly be available for the base manager as well as the management of the company to make preparations for the next day, prioritize work, and so forth, and plan the very few hours we have with the boats during these turnarounds, which of course, with this limited time, we really need to make sure we are efficient, and this way we can be super efficient during the breaks. And it also have, of course, the advantage of being then registered and logged somewhere, everything we do with the boat. So we can share, at least a lot of that, we can share with boat owners so that they can get access to what is going on with their boat.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. So the information can be added when a boat checks in. We go through the checklist. It can be added by the technicians, or it can be actually added by the owners, because they have access to their boat. And if they go out sailing and remember something a week after they get back, they're free to communicate back and forth. So it really, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said it logs everything, because we see who entered the task, a description of the task, and what day and timestamp it is. All right.
And just as sorry for interrupting there, but just as you said, it also becomes kind of a ticketing system for the boat owner, where he can then add items, both let's say upgrades and possible things that he wants to be done with the boat, but also of course maintenance issues that he might find when using his own boat. So this is and in the case, we try of course to be diligent and be on top of this always, but if there is any kind of slack from our side, it's also possible for us to have an overview of that, which is again very, very different from when we started out with pen and paper, and we used to get feedback sometimes it was sometimes a text message on the phone, or it was a written note left on the cockpit table, or somebody would be sending you or calling you and speaking to and then the technician would, standing on the docks, perhaps just receiving a boat, impossible to take notes, etc. So this is really a way of getting all the data in one spot, which has really proven really helpful.
Yes, and I think the method you were just talking about seems to be the industry standard. Okay, here's a new slide. And now this is I guess shows that when a task has been completed.
Right. Yeah. So not only are of course then tasks added, but once they are done, we can here see who have done the job. We are logging how many hours or parts of hours this has taken, and of course when it's done. yeah, and on which boats and so forth. So it gives a great overview for us and ultimately also for boat owners.
Oh, great. And then I guess the output for the owners is important so that they can get an accounting that they can use for their tax records. And it's important that we have accurate accounting for, especially for those programs that that might be looking for some tax advantage.
Yes, these are one of the really instrumental parts of running the boat in any kind of business. So you need to be able to show all the works that have been done individually to your specific boat, and that's what the software also creates, these reports.
Okay, and and this is typically a quarterly report that we send out to the owners. If they're free to look at how everything is happening on their boat, but we send these out quarterly to our owners so they can see all of the work being done, all of the parts used, and so pretty excited about that. How long has this app been in use?
So we have run it. So actually, we started with the first version already back in 2010, around over 10 years ago. But it's evolved over time. And initially, it was just a desktop application, and it's moved then into the cloud and become an app for Android and Apple devices. So the current version we have been using since 2015, and again making improvements as we go along every year, and particularly with on the reporting side and the detailed reporting back to owners, which was not really a requirement in the early days of the usage of the software, which has been added and is still a little bit work in progress on that, but yes.
And then, since 2015 in Europe, and then what's been the rollout schedule for the rest of the world?
Well, so that's, yeah, a very important point, Philip. Thanks for highlighting that. So since, as Philip started saying in the beginning, we out of our 300 boats, we only got about 60 right now in the Caribbean and Bahamas. So it's been mostly focused on all these developments has been in the Med, and where of course then we have a longer history of running the software. So in the BVIs, we really started rolling out this software last year in the base, and this year in the Bahamas. So it's really new for us in this part of the world.
Okay, everybody, I'd like you to find that chat button and ask away on questions. We don't have time for 15 minutes. As usual, we're running a little bit long. I think I talk way too much. I should be leaving much more time for Jesper to be talking. So go ahead and ask your questions. We just got a question from Chris. Is there a partner base in Italy?
There are one in Sicily, in Sardinia. I mean, in Sardinia, another island on S, in North Sardinia. So yes.
Oh boy, yeah. Let's maybe we can talk for just a minute about the bases that we do have in operation. Since that was just brought up.
Sorry, could you repeat that again, Philip?
Yeah, the bases that we do have. I think everybody for the North American market, They know about our base in the BVI. Now they know about the USVI and the Bahamas.
Right.
What other bases do we have?
So we got two exciting bases in Croatia. We got our main base up in outside of Split, in Szeged, which is really very, very close to Split International Airport, so very accessible, only about 10 minutes transfer time. We got another base down in Dubrovnik, which is southern parts of Croatia, a very historical city. There is an airport there as well, but not a big international one. But another great sailing area. We got, of course, Greece, where it's all started. We got the base in Athens, and actually in the old Olympic Marina from 2004 Olympics in Athens. And we have, there will be developments from next year on in Union in Greece as well. But now the base in Athens. And we have a base in Turkey, in Göcek, in basically southern Turkey, that will be east of Marmaris, but also a great sailing area. We have Spain, Mallorca, Spain, another very, very posh and flairful island, with which is exciting in many, many ways. We also have a base up in the Baltic Sea in Sweden and Stockholm archipelago, which is super exotic. Season is short, but very, very exciting, completely different landscape and environment and sea and everything. And well, then we got Thailand, out out in Asia, Southeast Asia, and we have the Seychelles grand opening in December of this year. And I think that covers it pretty much, apart from, yeah.
And then we do have a partner base in Newport, Rhode Island, and we hope to be, actually I'm going to break some news here. We're looking at opening a partner base in Dana Point, California. We've got some other Western locations in the U.S. that we're looking at, but Dana Point, we expect to be announcing that in the next month. So we were asked. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just also, I guess, reading from the chat questions here. But you go ahead and choose, and I'll be glad.
Yeah. Do folks get the same reports for the SMART program?
Right. So typically we do not send those detailed reports. However, also the SMART owners have access to our CYMS or our maintenance software. So you would be able to see a lot of data regarding your boat as well, if it's in the SMART program.
Right. All of the data from that goes into those service reports is directly pulled from the same program. Kelvin asked, when does an owner get access to the maintenance system? Hey, Kelvin. Typically, as soon as the boat is put in charter, we send out a link for the maintenance system. I will say a couple of changes here at the U.S. headquarters. We're moving some operations from Europe over here to the U.S. and very excited about that. So we're just in the process of bringing on a full-time investor concierge for all of our owners. And so for the last month, I think we've probably not been adding owners, but typically, as soon as the boat goes into service, you'll have a link to the CYMS. So let's see, what else do we have? Oh, here, this is for you, Jesper. If I was in Croatia, which would be the best place for peace of mind of maintenance?
Yeah, again, I'm not sure whether you're referring to as a private boat coming into Croatia, or a boat, putting a boat into a charter fleet in Croatia. But Croatia is really the charter boat mecca of the world. It's by far the biggest charter boat destination in the world, with over 4,000 boats active in charter. So there is a lot of good places in Croatia or there is a good network of knowledgeable people on maintenance and availability of spare parts and so on in most of Croatia. But of course, the area around Split is the kind of the center of Croatian yacht charters.
And a question from Anita: what are your maintenance schedules for the year, winter, or I guess let's just call it off season, because we have off season and on season, whether it's summertime off season in the Caribbean or wintertime off season in the Mediterranean. And if you don't mind, I'm going to take this one because I'm very, very, very excited about what we do. And every contract we sign for an owner putting a boat in our fleet, we attach a service guarantee. And this is a list, it's I think 16 pages, but it's things we do on every charter, things we do quarterly, semi-annually, annually, and then there are a few things that we do every 2 years, like pulling off the windlass and things like that. So we ask our owners to look on the CYMS, the maintenance software, and follow up and make sure that we're really holding true to that. We do pull all of our boats out and bottom paint them every year. We really want to go above and beyond the industry average. I know some of the other companies will go 2 or 3 years between bottom paint. We want to get the boats out of the water, look at them, and make sure there's no not readily visible damage to that our divers may have missed. So very excited about that.
Yes, and those schedules, obviously they are all in the software, but we also attach them and show them as part of our contract with somebody getting into a new boat. So it is, we're very upfront about our extensive maintenance program.
Fantastic. Let's see, from Danny. What jobs do you do yourselves and which are done by partner companies?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a very good question, because our own team does most of the maintenance in most of the bases. That's how we've been able to, because it is a big job and there is many hours going into this. So it would be financially impossible to work with outsourcing services. So we have year-round staff in all bases, even the bases which are having maybe a 3-4 months downtime in the off season. We still have year-round maintenance, so year-round employments. So the staff work on the off season on the boats and in the season with both the customer part and the maintenance in the season. So we do most of the jobs ourselves. It could be when it's something very particular in terms of maybe engines or so, where we would bring in a specialist, but typically we do most of the job on our own with our crew.
Yeah, and even the manufacturers are allowing us to do a lot of the warranty work as well. So we've really built up a good reputation with the manufacturers. They know that when we submit something, it's not a frivolous claim trying to claim something. And they want a lot of documentation, but we've built up that trust with the manufacturers.
Yes, and we try, of course, to send staff on these courses where they get different kind of certifications for everything from Yanmar, Volvo, or some electronics and so forth. So trying to keep them both developing professionally and also helping us with the things that Philip are just mentioning here.
Yeah, we are. We're running overtime again. It seems to be what we do when we get going on these. Get pretty excited about. I mean, this is our life. We get super excited about little things like this. Glad to have you with us. If you're, we did get a couple of questions that I didn't answer specifically about the ownership programs. So we have a lot of information on our website at navigare-yachting.com. And if you want to go there, look at the information we have on our website. You're more than welcome to call us. We have all of our numbers listed on the website. If you want to book charters, we've still got, even though things have heated up like crazy in the charter industry, we still have some space available, and there's a couple special deals going on still. So you can call our charter booking team at 800-806-1562, and you'll find this webinar we're recording. So you'll find this webinar on our website at well, normally it was a day, but I think it's going to be a few days. It'll be up on our website along with all our other webinars. So Jesper, any closing remarks?
I think, as you say, I see that there is a lot of questions. We'll be glad to try to answer them after the meeting. But thank you so much, Philip, for the presentation, and thanks everybody for listening in today. It was great to meet you all.
We'll see you out sailing soon. Thank you.
Thank you.